Well, we mentioned this is our 20th anniversary for Ag PhD TV. A lot of people ask us, how did you get started? And where the start really came is about 22 years ago. It was my dad and I talking to another ag show that was out there. It was this local ag show from South Dakota. I think it was Today's Ag. And they talked to us about wanting to advertise on that show because we were doing a lot of agronomy stuff back then. And so I talked to my dad about this. We were both in on this meeting. We were closing up the door at the end of the day, and I just remember Dad goes, "You know, Brian, we could do a show. We don't want to do anything with those guys, but why don't we do our own show?" And I said, "Dad, you know what? I'm already working a lot of hours. So is Darren. I don't know that we can do our own show. I mean, sure, we've got topics and everything. We could talk about agronomy, but it's a lot of work."
Well, I love how Dad pitched this too. If we do a half-hour show, there's commercials and things, so it'd probably be like 7 or 8 minutes for each of us. Well, that's no big deal. Each of us could talk for 7 or 8 minutes, and that sounds pretty easy, because if someone tells you, well, can you talk for 7 or 8 minutes? Sure, I can talk for 7 or 8 minutes. What we didn't realize is Dad was going to bail on us pretty quick. I think he knew that all along, that, yep, I'm going to be in there for just a little bit. As soon as I get these guys going, then they can take it from there.
One of the big differences between what we do today and what we did back then, we scripted the show when we first got started. We didn't know exactly.
And we were in a studio.
Yep, we didn't know exactly what we were doing. We used a teleprompter, and Darren and I wrote the show in advance. Well, for the last, I don't even know how many years, probably 15 years, we've had no scripts. Darren and I just show up, we've discussed the topics, and we start talking.
You talk about that like it's a bad thing, Brian, and really what it is it's fluid. And if you went back to show number 1 and heard us talk about Venus mallow, obviously we've come a long way. We've got different options, we've learned things over the years, and you know what, Brian and I are running in different directions sometimes, and Brian's like, man, I saw this over in Minnesota, and I say, hey, I was down in Missouri and I saw it over here, and this is what the guys were doing there. So we're always learning, always changing, and it's a fun conversation.
Well, here's the thing too, why we don't need to script stuff anymore. This is what we do every day. I mean, we did it back then too, but we just weren't super comfortable on TV. Well, after 1,000 and something episodes, plus a daily radio show, we're kind of used to talking about this stuff. It's what we do. So it's very easy for us to just have a topic, almost any topic when it comes to agronomy, and just start talking about our experiences, because we've worked with farmers all over the country and really all over the world.
Well, there's only one reason that we're on the air 20 years later, and it's not because we're so great or anything like that. It's that we've had so much support from everybody watching the show, and the feedback that we've gotten has just been great.
Yeah, we started on just a couple of local stations, and now we're on all over the country, really all over the world when you figure the internet as well. And I just want to say thanks to Patrick Gotch and RFD TV. We were the first show that signed on with RFD TV when they became a network about 18 years ago. So it's really been great, been a lot of fun. This is our 20th anniversary.
Well, one thing that hasn't changed in those 20 years is there's still tough weeds to control. Can you identify this week's weed?